What's going on, Uncommon Universe? Hey guys, this is Coach Clavon. What an honor and a distinction to be with you guys tonight. We are fired up and excited as always. Let me see something here. What episode is this? Well, of course I know. Hey guys, we're on episode 35, man. We are making history. And hey, it's always really an honor and a distinction to be on this platform, to be a part of this podcast. The Uncommon Movement, Uncommon Men. Guys, welcome to Uncommon Mondays. Again, episode 35. Listen, guys, do me a favor. If you're watching this on our YouTube channel, please like, share, subscribe. Help the movement grow. If you're watching this on social media, Facebook, whatever the case may be, share the broadcast, like the broadcast tonight, leave comments. We will answer your questions. We will show your comments. And hey, listen, we're fired up and excited. And as always, we come to you with this uncommon vision to create a roadmap, if you will, for freedom and for success. And every week, man, we bring to you uncommon gentlemen, uncommon men that are making it happen on their own terms. And you get to hear information, nuggets, strategies, trials and tribulations on the different areas that we deem very important in this uncommon movement. So thank you guys for being with us and joining us, and the family is growing. And, what I want to really do right now is bring on my partner. They say partner in crime. No, my partner in freedom, my visionary partner. What an amazing leader. It's been a couple of weeks with all the storms here in the country, especially in the Texas region, and also traveling abroad and building our uncommon movement around the world. It's been maybe a week or two since we've been together, but this guy's traveling all over the world, making it happen, helping people, sharing a vision. He is a phenomenal global entrepreneur. Man, I have a tremendous amount of respect for. In this day and age, you find people with integrity that do what they say and keep their word. There's a premium on that. And individuals who have built independent wealth and helped thousands of families around the world get financial freedom, right? Guy with a true heart of gold, a business partner of mine. I'd like to also be able to call a friend, a top leader, man, in this industry. My guy. What's going on, Mr. Dan Putnam? Dan, what's up, partner?
Oh, man, a lot of exciting things. Great meetings today, and just glad to be back on, man. It just crazy things happen. I mean, who would think in Houston, still many places don't have power. When did the power come back on in Kingwood? Do you know the exact day?
Well, yeah, after like 9 or 10 days, it started trickling on, let's say, whatever last Wednesday, Thursday. After about 9 or 10 days, yeah.
So super crazy. I have a place in Playa del Carmen that got hit by the hurricane. And then we have the place there in Kingwood, Texas, just outside of Houston, that got hit by the hurricane. When one hurricane, two houses. So, man, just kind of crazy timing in the world. But, man, I couldn't imagine a better time to be alive. So much. I think it's just like anything, just like life. You got to take the good with the bad. So much opportunity right now in 2024. We talk about it all the time, but my real passion is partly because we live in 2024, and I can't imagine being alive right now in this absolutely incredible time in the world and not being able to take advantage of it.
Right.
I've had a lot of thoughts lately, and I was talking to some gentlemen earlier this week, I think on Tuesday, and it really got me thinking about some things, Clavon, and it's just kind of weird. Maybe about a month or two ago, I was playing in a golf tournament. It happened to be a course here in Utah, and it's way up high on the side of the mountain, and it's just in North Salt Lake, so it's not too far out of the city, but it's high enough on the mountain that there's always deer out there and different types of wildlife, but you can also see over the entire Great Salt Lake. So you can see the entire Salt Lake, which is pretty unique area in and of itself. There's only two inland seas on the planet. There's the Great Salt Lake and there's the Dead Sea. but just the view of there, the view over the city, a lot of just absolutely beautiful homes, multi-million-dollar homes, probably some 10, $15 million homes. And the thought came to me, and it just was very clear, and I'm not sure why, but I was looking at the ground, and you have this beautiful golf course, but it's carved through all these trees, and then on the west side, it gets down into a little bit almost deserty, where you have like sagebrush and stuff like that. And the thought came to me, it's like, man, every single thing that I can see from the side of this mountain was made from what I'm standing on right now. And I couldn't believe it. If you go back even 250 years, obviously there's no roads, there's no houses up there. It's just trees. And now everything that we have on this planet is made from what's on this planet. I mean, do you ever think about that, Clavon? It's really interesting.
No, it is. It's profound.
It's like, how in the world do you go with these different rocks and different minerals and water and trees and grass and stuff like that, and come up with roads and cars and airplanes and cell phones and computers and AI and clothes and all of the things that we have? It really is mind blowing when you really imagine. It's like there's nothing that exists that didn't come from that.
Yeah.
And it's like, how did this even happen? So I know that it probably doesn't make a whole lot of sense to get going in this podcast by thinking of that, but what it makes me think of is, because of all this stuff made from the earth and where we live in 2024. I know that we just had some meetings in Costa Rica. I mean, if it was 1824, the odds of us getting from Houston, Texas to Costa Rica would be almost not. I'm not saying it couldn't happen, but it probably wouldn't happen. Even getting from Texas to Utah probably isn't going to happen for the majority of people. And so a big part of this uncommon movement is allowing people to have the opportunity to truly live life. And again, I think as I get a little bit older, I think about it more and more and more. And I can't remember the guy's name, but Jesse Itzler, I think it is. His wife he's written some great books, highly recommend it. A little bit like Tim Ferriss. One of the things that's really cool that he does is he normally will go and live the experience and then write a book about it. Tim Ferriss does that a lot also, where he'll actually test things. He'll hear a bunch of theories. He'll go test them all himself, and then he'll write about his experience as well as other people's experience. So he's not only telling other people's experience, he's also saying, hey, I saw these testimonials. I saw this stuff. These people are saying they can do this, and I'm going to test it. And so not only does he test it and give his own, like, yes, it worked great, or it didn't work that good for me, but you still might want to try it because it's worked for all these other people. So Jesse Itzler does kind of the same things. And one of the things that he's known for right now is he creates a yearly calendar.
Okay.
And what he basically does, I don't know exactly what it's called, and I haven't seen this stuff for months and months. So this is you probably just want to Google him and watch. You'll kind of see where he's talking about this stuff. I don't remember exactly what it's called, but there's a tradition in Japan that one time per year they pick something, like one goal that's really going to push them, like something that you're really going to have to try in order to accomplish. And they try and do that one big event every year. And then you break it down to like one that's not as big, but still kind of your bucket list stuff once a quarter. And then he breaks it down even more to, you do this once a month. And then you break it down to just learn something new once a week. Even if you go to like Lowe's or Home Depot and they're just, on Saturdays and stuff like that, they'll do little classes to
workshops,
just workshops to teach you to do something. Or you hey, I'm going to take a dance class, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that, just to have these different experiences that you normally wouldn't have. And so he used an example. I think he's just a little bit older than we are, but even if you go at our age, 50 and right around that age, 50 to less than 55. And if you go the average life expectancy, then let's just say it's like 75 to 77. So let's say it's 75. That means that we have between like 20 and 25 summers left. He talks about like if you're seeing your parents, and if you see your parents like once or twice a year, if they happen to still be alive, and let's say that they're 70, and so you might have 5 more years, so you might have like 5 or 10 more visits with your parents, and so he goes through all these things, and he's like, obviously we don't know if we have 1 day, 1,000 days, or how many days, or anything that we know. We do know for sure we don't have infinity.
Exactly.
But basically what he does, where he works out this yearly calendar, is just making sure for all these years that you have left, make as many experiences as you possibly can. And if you really break it down and you think, what is life all about? What is this life about? And if you just get down to just like as far down as you can go, life is about experiences.
Yeah.
And what more is it about? It truly is pretty much about experiences, good, bad, indifferent. And who would, again, we've discussed this a little bit. I personally I have some beliefs, but I don't know if they're 100% true. And I don't want to get into, religious beliefs and stuff like that. But I believe something happens after we die, but I don't know exactly what it is. And so I don't know if we get more lives, if we get this, if we get, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, what if this is our one shot to experience all of these with the exact flesh and blood and everything that we have right now? And what if we don't have unlimited experiences?
Right.
Wouldn't it be kind of a shame that you really didn't experience much? And I know people that I've met that are our age that really haven't even gone more than, they've never even left their state. Some people have barely left their city. And so everything that we're focused on is about providing opportunity, allowing people to realize who they are, what they're capable of. And think about it. As human beings, I don't know the exact, it's literally like 99.9% or 99% identical as far as our DNAs and stuff like that. But we all have that 1% that makes us unique, or that 0.1%, whatever it is, that makes us unique and makes us different. But at the end of the day, there is so much truth, not in every aspect. So not in all sports and stuff like that. There's some genetics. There's some other things that take place in being able to be one of the best athletes in the world, to be able to do that like professionally or something like that. But most things, if somebody can do it, we could also do it. And especially when you're looking at success. And the reason we do this podcast, and the reason that we focus on these 5 key points of uncommon, which we'll get into here a little bit later. But the big reason is to just show people that, first off, success is a choice. And then second, it's a process. So if somebody wants to become successful, they have to make that decision. Nobody can decide for you. And then you have to follow the process in order to make it happen. And that's what we do here on these Uncommon Mondays. As we bring guests on, we interview them a little bit, and we just kind of show you sometime in their life they made a decision that they was going to, do something different. And then went through that process, the trial and error, the mindset, the personal development, everything that they had to do in order to make it. And you can take people of all walks of life, that have come out of nowhere and become a success.
Yeah.
And so that's really the reason that we do this week after week after week, is just so that you can get it in your own mind that your success is your responsibility. It's your choice. And you have to make that decision, and then realize that it's a process, and then follow the process. And we believe that 100% of the people can do that if they make the decision, follow the process, and go through the right mindset, the right mentors, all of those different things that we discussed. But
Yeah.
anyways, those are just some thoughts that I've had. I'm
Yeah.
glad to be back. It was kind of crazy trying to figure out how we're going to do it without power and different things like that. And now we have, good grief. I had like 3 meetings this week that didn't happen because people were flying in and there's no flights. It's like so much crazy stuff going on in the world right now. I mean, come on. The biggest computer company in the world can't even keep the computers going. And it shows you how vulnerable we are.
How vulnerable.
It's one computer glitch and there's no more airplanes.
Banking.
Yeah. Everything, grocery, the entire supply chain. Think of everything that depends on these computer systems and stuff like that. And so, man,
Yeah.
interesting time.
Interesting
To be alive.
It sure is. Then I'll tell you something, man. You're opening. Growing up in New York, in New Jersey, I used to move around New York at a certain age, and I would sit there and I'm like, is anyone else mesmerized by the subway system?
Oh, man.
Really
Everything.
Underground, all these trains that go to every borough, 2-3 stops each. And then I would look at, and I would realize one day, like, wait, the Holland Tunnel, we're underwater right now?
Yeah.
And looking at the George Washington Bridge, those instruments there would leave me thinking how you were thinking on that golf course, like the potential of human beings. We built this, and wow, and I love what you said, Dan, about experiences and how tomorrow really, hey man, tomorrow's not promised. And I mean, to be uncommon is to fight for freedom and live your life, man.
Yeah.
So, man, that was beautiful. That was very inspiring. And we got a gentleman with us tonight who, I want to bring Jose on, man. He's a great guy because I want to share something. I remember watching this documentary, Dan, on the Discovery Channel. It was about Walt Disney. Walt Disney had got to a point where he had handed the reins over to his son-in-law, his daughter's husband. And I guess the guy was a great businessman, checked off all the boxes. And they were interviewing Walt Disney's son-in-law, who had a 2-decade run running Walt Disney, all the Disney institutions. And the one thing I think we all can relate to is how kind Walt Disney employees are. Like, you go to Disneyland, you go to this, it's always just so kind. And he said one thing that I'll never forget. He said, here our motto is we don't hire people and train them, to be nice. We only hire nice people.
Wow.
And man, that was just so powerful. I will never forget that. And I say that story, Dan. I know you kind of can relate to that, how powerful that is. But it was like when we were in San Jose, we were in Costa Rica doing business. I met, meeting this gentleman, Jose. He reminded me of that. Like uncommon sometimes is like, man, are you just born with that therapeutic energy where you are just kind and caring and got a big heart, and you walk into a room and you just naturally compliment people and you have that right etiquette. You just kind of make environments better. That's the type of instant success I saw that this guy was carrying. I want to bring him to the forefront, Mr. Jose Perez, a gentleman who is one of the leading managers with Wyndham International Resort out there in Costa Rica. Got a chance to meet Jose. He's one of our international business partners in this direct sales game that we're playing here at Be Epic. Loves what we're doing, but a great leader. I know his parents and ministry, and Jose. There's a lot of different types of success that we like to highlight here in the Uncommon platform. Yours is just as much as in your desire and the commitments and sacrifices you're making now in real time and your pursuits for success. as what you as you know, in tune with what you can accomplish. You know, I think someone who's young and going for it deserves the same platform because so many people can learn from you and be inspired by you. But we want to welcome you to the platform from Costa Rica. Welcome to Uncommon Mondays. How you feeling?
Very good. Very nervous, but very good. Thank you for so much. I'm being so honored to be here with these two gentlemen. Really, so happy. It's my first time, so thank you very much for inviting me to this oncoming Mondays. So,
Yeah. We're just gonna drill you with some real hard questions, bro. Try to, no. We're gonna keep it cool, bro. First thing is this. Just man, if you feel comfortable, a little insight on your background, man. You're native of Costa Rica. How was it growing up in that beautiful country, that beautiful region? And you told me a little bit about your parents, your mom being in ministry. Can we get some insight on your background? What led you to, the Wyndham and entrepreneurship? Just go ahead, whatever you'd like to share. Just some insight on who Jose Perez is.
well, like you said, I coming from great family. Actually, my mom, like I told you in those days, she is a pastor, so she gives me a lot of great values and principles in my life. So the first in my life is God, and then my family. That's the whole thing in my life. So that's why I'm right now right here with you sharing. Thanks to God and thanks for the opportunity that He gives me and you give me, guys. And so grateful with that, and so grateful with that too. So thank you very much, really. Yeah, well, what can I say? I'm just a guy that tries to improve in his life as a person, as a professional, and wants this opportunity to grow as a businessman and as a man in the way of God too. So I'm very excited to start and being here.
Yeah. Awesome. You know, I'd like to give Dan his props. He really built a vision around Uncommon that has 5 pillars, and I want him to kind of jump in and kind of ask some of these questions with me. But the first pillar, is about health and wellness, and that's just something Dan has just been preaching, and it's the foundation of most of his companies, health and wellness. And Dan, Jose has a lot of respect for you. He was just so honored and couldn't believe he'd be on this platform with the CEO of Be Epic. He was really tripping. But then could you just take him down like the road of that first pillar? Why health and wellness is so important to you, bro? And then we'll get some feedback on like what that means from Jose as well.
Yeah, for sure. And really, when we're talking about health, we're talking about physical and mental, both. And really, the reason it's so important is like we said. I mean, we have no idea how long we're going to be experiencing this life. We don't know how many days, how many years, how many months we have left. But here's what we know: we have this body to take us through this world, and there's things that can happen that are not possible to correct. And so the whole concept is we want to stay in as good a physical shape as we possibly can, so that we can move, so that we can run, jump, and do the things that we are capable of doing. But we also at the same time want to focus on our mindset. There's so many things in this world that we have no control over. And I think in most cases, what causes anxiety and depression and so many of these other things is people just worrying nonstop about things that are out of their control. And also, good things happen to us, bad things happen to us. Most things we have some responsibility for. And even if we have no responsibility, somebody does something to us, we still have to accept it and move on. I listened to something just today, and he was basically talking about the ability that we have to focus on, that we can live in the present. What happened yesterday is already over. Until they invent time travel, there's nothing we can do about it. Mm-hmm. And what's going to happen tomorrow, we don't even know if there is a tomorrow. So much of our stress, so much of our problems are things that happened yesterday or things that haven't even happened. So we really think that it's important that we focus on both the physical wellness and the mental wellness at the same time. And the reason that we're so focused on working with young men at, starting at the age of 16 or even less, is the sooner you can start creating these habits, the better it's going to be.
Hmm.
And I mean, I wish I would have focused on my physical health way more for the last 20, 30 years. I've been so focused on business, traveling, all the excuses that you can possibly think of. Oh, it's hard when you're traveling all the time and eating out all the time and entertaining all the time and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it's like, yeah, I can make up some more excuses also. But at the end of the day, that's the life that I chose. I need to make better decisions. And one of the things, even though I know that there's hormones, I know that there's different things that some people really struggle with, anxiety, depression, things like that. But a lot of it is learning to control our mind, focus on what's in front of us right now. What happened yesterday? Again, they might invent time travel and something can happen in the future, but until that happens, there's not much we can do except for learn.
Exactly.
What's going to happen tomorrow? We have no idea. I got my degree in psychology. We've talked about this some. I really focused a lot on placebo, both the placebo and the anti-placebo, which showed me how powerful the human brain is. And one of my favorite sayings, and I don't remember, I don't think I maybe heard it from a professor in college, or maybe I've heard it many times. I don't remember the exact first time that I heard it, but they say if you knew how powerful your brain was, you would never have a negative thought. And what I'm learning and really starting to believe in, I've never been a big believer in manifesting. I've thought that you do the work and you stay consistent with the work, and good or bad things happen. But now that I'm thinking more and more of my own personal life, and when something goes bad, the first thing that I do is I go back and I start replaying everything. What was I thinking? What was I afraid of? What was I concerned about? Almost every time that the thing that I was afraid that happened, that ends up happening, that was bad, I was constantly worried about it. I kept thinking, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. This isn't going to work. This isn't going to go smooth. And then it doesn't go smooth. That's a form of manifesting. Instead, I should be thinking nothing but positive thoughts until something bad happens. When something bad happens, I deal with it. But before it happens, I don't even know if it's going to happen. So why in the world would I think negatively if it hasn't already happened? And again, I'm not saying that just by having positive thoughts, nothing bad's going to happen in your life. I guarantee you some bad things are going to happen in your life. But there's things that are out of your control. And once it happens, you can dwell on it. You can go in a shell. You can have something that happened to you, determine your next step and stuff like that. Or you can just realize that, hey, what we do have control of is our thoughts right now today. And so we want to just go through that education process and get people thinking about it a little bit more, so that they don't play quite the victim. They understand bad things happen. They learn from it, grow from it, and move on. And good things happen also. And so that's really the whole concept, Clayvon, and of why this is so important, because what we have is our physical bodies and our mental capabilities, and we got to work on both of them. And there's some people that are in great physical shape that mentally they're really struggling. And there's some people that aren't in that great a physical shape, but mentally they're as strong as a rock. And then there's some people that are both. And we want to focus on both, because again, what is more valuable as a human being than our health, both physically and mentally? I saw a thing, and this is the last thing I'll say. I don't want to take too much time on this. But I saw something. I don't remember exactly who it was, but here's what he was saying. He said, no matter what age you are right now, I bet you that you would give up every single thing that you have, everything that you have, if you fast forward to 30 years from now, that you'd give up everything that you have just to go back where you are right now today in the exact health that you are today, even if it's poor. Because what's that time worth to us?
Woo.
I mean, let's say that, okay, I'm 50 years old. And let's say the next 25 years are good or bad. And right now, at 50, I still think I got a lot of time. In my mind, I think I'm going to live to be at least 100. I think that I don't know why I think that, but who knows? That's my thoughts. But I was really thinking about that, and if I could go back to when I was 20 and feel exactly like I did when I was 20, or even 30, would I give up everything that I have and just go back there and start over from scratch? Except for, I have the experiences in the mind. I think I would for sure. And I'm sure if I had that same conversation at 75, would I give up everything that I have and go back just to be 50 again? Because these experiences are so precious, and this time is so precious, and it's so valuable. And that's why we feel that it's got to be that starting point. That everything about the Uncommon movement is about these first two topics. The next two are what we do to achieve the first two, and the last one is really just what we believe in to stay grounded and what humans should do. So, but anyways, that's really my thoughts on the mental health, physical health, fitness.
So Jose, I want to kind of just, based on what you just heard, how do you feel? Like, I know in your career, you got to use a lot of emotional intelligence, and being, working with the people like you do. But what's your thoughts on health? Physical health, mental health, and what do you do anything, any certain exercises, or you read any certain things to keep you sharp in those areas?
Okay. Well, what I think of health and wellness is that maintaining a good health and wellness is crucial for a balanced, fulfilling life. It's not just about physical fitness, but also mental, emotional. Well-being, taking care of oneself allows you to perform better and in all areas of life. As a guy as me that has to be 12 or 8 hours just in his fees, is a little difficult to stay healthy. I just interact with people, checking it.
Maybe have a little signal issue with my brother, and I'll wait for him to chime back. Yeah, okay. We can hear you. Are you there?
Okay, yeah. I'm still here.
Yeah, I can't see you, but we hear you clearly.
Okay, let me see. Now?
Well, no, I saw your camera come on, but not your face.
Okay.
Try one more time.
Well, we can say with the audio. I will try to turn off the camera, but
if you can hear me, no, whatever you just did took off your audio. So maybe you may want to just try to log off and log back on. It'll be fine.
Okay. My apologies. Yeah. I will try.
No problem. And Dan, I'm starting to like really fall in love with this term of emotional intelligence.
Oh wow, yep, for sure.
It's just really starting to me, emotional intelligence is the epitome of personal responsibility. Starting to take responsibility for how you communicate with people, how they receive your communication, how you receive their communication, policing your thoughts, guarding your mind. I just think that is a big part of kind of what you're sharing right now.
I've been doing a little bit of studying because I never really thought about it this way, and talking to some of the guys I work with and stuff, and we've been talking a lot about ego, and I never really thought of what is ego. I've heard of people that were egotistical that I thought it just means they're kind of cocky or proud of themselves and stuff like that. But then I really started to look and hear people talk about ego and how ego is truly what holds us back so many times.
Mm.
and they're using the example kind of like you'd see in the cartoons of like the devil on one side and the angel
Right.
on the other side,
Right.
whispering in your ear, and kind of that devil voice that's trying to hold you back and get you to do those things. That's a lot of people are talking about. That's your actual ego.
Mhm.
And it really doesn't necessarily have the our best interest at heart.
Mhm.
It's kind of like, oh no, go ahead and do this or do that, or give up on yourself, or you can't do it, or nobody can do it, or that's stupid, or why try, and all of these things. And it's really been interesting to me when I really sit back and try and listen to what's going on in my head and be like, Clavon, who is it that makes these choices? Whose choice is it?
Mm.
Because sometimes I think that's not my choice. I wouldn't choose to, if it was my choice, I would be in great shape and, have a six pack and all of that. But well, then whose choice is it if it's not yours? And it's been really interesting. I got a book. I haven't started it yet, but a couple people recommended it to me. I'll pull up a little bit later, maybe when we're talking about personal development, what the title is, because I don't remember the title, but it has everything to do with your ego and really getting into that. And I've been putting a lot of thought lately about why in the world do I keep making the same mistakes over and over and over and over, and the same excuses over and over and over and over. The more you think about it, it starts to get kind of frustrating. That it's like, man, I know that I'm better than that. And here's a couple crazy stories. 1 year, Clavon, and I don't even know why I did it, because I'm not a runner and I didn't really even train for them. But a few years ago, I did 5 half marathons in 1 year.
Wow.
And in all honesty, didn't really train for any of them. It'd be like I'd go out and do a half. If you invited me tomorrow to go do a half marathon, I'd go do it. I know I can do one. I'm not going to break any records. I'm not going to jog the whole time. I'm going to run and jog. You know what I mean? But sometimes, maybe because of business success that I've had and stuff like that, I start to get, I feel like I'm a humble person, but then I realize that I'm not always that humble person.
Right.
And so like an example, I'd get passed by, let's say, like no offense meant to anybody, but like a little older lady passing me in this half marathon. And I look at her and almost in my mind, almost laugh at like how slow she looks like she's running. It's almost like, it's like, I don't know if it's like a fast walk, a slow jog, or anything. And then the thought comes to me, I would be faster if I could just move like that. And again, I'm not taking offense to anybody. I mean, these women like beat me by 10, 20, 30 minutes in a half marathon. And when I watch them pass me, I'm a competitive person, and I'll be like, there's no way this person's going to beat me. So I'll start like picking up the jog and I'll pass them. And then I get tired. So I start like resting or walking. And then like 5 minutes later, they just steadily pass me again. And so I just kind of think about that a little bit. It's like, man, in so many things, I'm really not that good at it at all. And some things that I take pride in, like for me, mindset is something that I've really taken pride in, and consistency, but it's not in every aspect. I mean, just doing 5 half marathons in a year, some people would think, oh, well, that's pretty impressive. They're not super easy to do. It's not like, I think most people could do it if they wanted to. Another thing, I'll see these amazing weight loss stories and on TikTok and on Instagram and stuff like that. People lose like 140 pounds in 6 months and 100 pounds and go from being, very overweight to being in great shape. And I'll sit there and I'll think, it's like, man, how in the world are those people? Are they that much better than me? Is their mindset that much stronger than mine? What is it that's holding me back? Why can't I just go all in so many areas of life? But those are just some things that I've really been thinking about constantly. Is kind of like that man, for decades, if you're talking about physical fitness, I've known exactly what to do. And I've worked very closely with some of the fittest people on the planet. But I don't know what is it that would make me make decisions that keep me from being in the best shape. You know, it's one of those things that I like it and I dislike it at the same time. I like it because it just shows that those are things that you have to earn. Those aren't things that are just going to happen. You truly have to make decisions. The decisions aren't that crazily hard. I've done it a lot of time, just not for consistent enough, long enough periods of time. But maybe what we should do, because obviously there's crazy weather all over the world. Jose's calling in from Costa Rica. There could be something happening somewhere. So I don't want to just stay stuck on the health and wellness. Why don't we go ahead and move on? We'll just have the discussions amongst ourselves, give him the time to come back on. But the second one, Clayvon, and you've heard, we've discussed this together. I wouldn't say like one's way more important than the other. I think they kind of go hand in hand. If I was just going to choose one, it would for sure be the physical health and mental health over the financial literacy. But if you're going to take care of yourself physically and mentally, it's going to be way better to do that and at the same time have control of your finances. But what we talk about specifically in financial literacy is we want to set people up so they control their time. There's two main types of income.
Yeah.
You have linear income, which is just trading your time for money. And regardless of how much money you're trading that time for, you're never going to get that time back. And I have yet to see any jobs that don't have massive leverage so that you control your time, that pay a lot of money, that don't have a lot of stress along with them.
Yeah, it's true.
And so what our focus in is the second type of income, which is residual income. And that's something that gives you the ability to get paid over and over and over on the work that you had done previously. So that could be example like real estate, buying a house, renting it out, and then they're going to pay that rent month after month after month. And you can do that unlimited times. I've been following a guy on Instagram, and he makes about $150,000 a month, Clayvon. And what he does is high-end rentals. He used to use like Turo, but now he just created his own website and a social media following. But he uses the example, like he was just showing some of the cars that he buys. But one of them was like a Bentley Bottega, the SUV Bentley. And a 2018 he was showing is in the 80,000, 80 to 90,000, and knew that car is about 220. So you go like 6 years old, still a nice vehicle, pay about 90 grand, put 20% down, your payment on that's around 2,000 a month. And he rents, most of his cars rent out on average 15 to 20 times per day, not per day, excuse me, per month.
Yeah.
And he rents those out for about $400 a day. So that car brings in somewhere between like 4,500 on a low end up to 8,000 on a high end per month. And then he just does that over and over and over. Like some of the Lamborghinis, he's renting out $1,000 a day. So he has some of these cars that he's making 15, 20,000 a month on that are costing him maybe 5 or 6 or 7,000 a month. And so that's an example of the residual income.
Yeah.
These cars, they're working for him, or Airbnbs, or selling a product or a service that people buy every month. Even things like the influencers on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube, just that consistency of doing your videos and getting views. And you do one video, and maybe for the next 3, 4, 5 years, it's getting hundreds of thousands or millions of views per month. You get paid on that way after you did it. And so that's the type of income that we focus on, because right up there with your health, physical and mental, is your time. And so the whole goal with this uncommon movement is getting people to focus on their health, physical and mental, and also focus on controlling your time. Just imagine how much more you can experience throughout life if you're in good physical and mental shape and you have control of your time. So you have money coming in every single day, every single week, every single month that doesn't necessarily depend on your time. Meaning if we go on vacation, that money's still coming in, even if we don't work
Right.
or have the type of work that you can do most of it right here with your cell phone.
Mhm.
I can be on the beach anywhere in the world, at any resort, at any place, and you know, getting the word out and stuff like that. So that's what we focus on. Clayvon, what are your thoughts, or do you have any that you want to discuss on the you know, just your
Yeah.
time, financial literacy, and things like that?
I'll tell you one thing. You know, Dan, yeah, I'm with you. I'm gonna take health and wellness, mental health, and emotional intelligence as number one. But financial freedom, I mean, listen, man, I was in the airport during this cyber crisis. And when you see families begging for cots, you
Yeah.
know, when you see 300 people online for a customer service airline that only has two tellers, and there's 300 people online. When you have the opportunity to just open up an app and say, let me just get out of here and get to a nice, you know, 4-star, 5-star hotel, because see, with my allergies, I can't go to an old hotel because the rug, the ventilation, the you know, the central air, if it's too dusty, I'm gonna be miserable.
Yeah.
So I have to go to a certain quality, not for vanity, but just for my you know, my comfort. So this is the deal. To be able to just say, hey, whatever that is, if it's $180 a night, 100, 125, boom, 2 nights. All right, boom, forget that airline. They're gonna have a domino effect, a residual effect of back you know, oversold seats. Like,
Yeah.
this thing is gonna happen for 3 or 4 days. So let me find another airline, just book a flight home. Okay, it's not for 2 days, hotel, and let me get in the comfort zone. Listen, I've lived a life where that wasn't possible. I've
Yeah.
lived a life where I had to see, man, what am I going to sleep in this airport for 2 days? Am I going to borrow some money? I didn't have in my budget an extra $400, you know, just to go sit. Financial freedom is so powerful, and if you're not making residual income, this is the only thing I'll say. If you are trading time for money, it sounds cliche, but you usually will have more month at the end of your money. If you are having residual bills coming in and you're paying them with an hourly wage, you're going to have moments in your month where it's just completely frustrating, where there is none extra. And I've come to a point where I believe freedom that comes from residual income, or freedom that comes from being leveraged in your career, where you are making money when you're not working, maybe
Yeah.
you've built a team or you've done some of the things you just, I think that's where the premium is. Because the frustration that comes from having a lack of financial resources, based on the signs that I'm seeing, it's going to become too overwhelming. You know, so Dan, you know, I just know for a fact, I don't care what order you put them in, but you know, obviously our bodies, our temple, and our psychological stability has got to be number one. But man, if you guys are not out there fighting for financial freedom through financial literacy, stop trading time for money and build something that's going to give you leverage so you have extra money to experience freedom in life, even in crisis moments. You know, people are missing the ball. And, you know, you're back right on time, Jose. Before we continue to our third pillar, we were just touching on number 2. Do you have any insight, man? Has financial literacy been something that's been important to you? This whole idea of residual income. I know you work a great job that you love, but is there anything you like to talk about as it pertains to, you know, residual income and just being financially free?
Yeah, exactly. My apologies. I'm back. I was
Yeah,
a
don't
little
worry about
inconvenienced.
it. Yeah,
But
don't worry
right now, like you said, residual income or leverage, these are finances, these are powerful concepts, sorry. But I think that in my career I love to interact with people and everything, and sometimes see cases that, well, they don't have that freedom with money, and it's a little convenience. For example, last night I got those two kids that they just get married, and man, they touched my heart because they only paid a standard room, and it was his wedding night. And I was like, no, man, you have to pass a great night. So I given an upgrade on the non-child man, and I was like, God bless you. You, if you have that freedom, you can make that dreams coming true. And that's the thing that we want to learn about this, giving people some opportunities to grow, to make his dream come true. I was like, thank God for giving me this job, but I want to make some more important things than just giving an upgrade to some people, like help people in healthness and in the spiritual way to get to his dreams, everything. I'm so excited to start with you guys. And like I said in the start, I'm so honored to be here. Thank you, Dan, and thank you, Claywood, really. And like we said right here in Costa Rica, pura vida.
That's right.
I
That's where
love it.
a big vision was born. And as Mr. Putnam alluded to, health and wellness, physically and mentally, financial freedom through financial literacy, residual income is king, leverage is king, making money when you're not working, using that leveraged income to then invest, have your money make money, and have time freedom. But the ultimate goal is mental health, physical health, and time freedom, and be able to have the money to do what you want to do, right? And so how do you get that? You get that through, I believe, a commitment to personal growth and development. I think that you got to continuously increase your value as a person. I think you got to continuously become the better version of yourself. Dan always kind of alludes to just being, from a spiritual perspective, keeping things pretty simple. And I think I share that. I think I'm a very spiritually grounded person. But I think the most fancy I might get, Jose, is that I do think maybe we are born for a reason.
Exactly.
I do think that we are born for a purpose. And you try to not be egotistical with that. You try to feel like maybe everyone's purpose is profound. Everyone has a journey that's worthy. But then you get personal with your own and say, hey, man, I'm here for a reason. So that's where the personal growth comes in, because I think you got to kind of grow into that reason. I think life is like a boot camp that has to prepare you for that ultimate purpose. You got to get powerful mentally, physically, spiritually, socially, financially. You grow into that purpose. And shame on you if you don't, take that responsibility, because you could miss it. So, let me ask you, Jose, just straight off the bat, how important is personal growth and development to you? We feel that that's the number one pillar to make the other two manifest. What are you reading right now? Do you have any mentors that have helped shape you? What does this mean to you, growth and development?
Well, it's very important to me. Right now, I don't really have a mentor. I just ordered the book Show Dog, memoir by the creator of Nike, and I'm very interested into learning about it. And the first guide that I got is God's so reading my Bible, and is what gives me purpose and help right now, and allows me to grow really every day. But it's very important to me, like I told you when I met you, I was trying to search for this kind of opportunity to grow. I am a young man. I know that it doesn't appear. I am 26 years old, man. So really, I'm trying to achieve and try to get that goals in my life to help people. It's very important to me.
26, Dan.
Yeah, I love it. That's what it's all about.
Exactly. Very young, but with big shifts and big goals. God always right there to help me. And thank you very much, really.
I know you said like you really can't zone in on a mentor right now, but I mean, I can't answer questions for you, but I could just imagine with your mom being, the head pastor.
Oh
Of
yeah,
church.
yeah, of
But
course.
that's big time mentorship, even outside of just mommy duties. I mean, she just wears a noble, gown, and I mean, she's coming from a spiritual perspective probably all the time, and even at the Wyndham. I mean, I remember maybe someone took you under their wing and say, "Hey, man, here's how you can move up to the management ranks," and I mean,
Exactly.
when you just think about it, there's probably quite a few people that touched you. I know, hey, for me, my whole
I
life is
know.
predicated on mentors, man. I wouldn't be sitting here right now if people didn't
Exactly.
extend their hand and make a impact on my life. But I like the fact that you got a couple books that you're ordering for Phil Knight. I mean, that should be very inspiring as an
Yeah.
entrepreneur. Anything you
Exactly.
want to touch on the personal growth and development, Dan?
You know what? No, I think that it's the one thing I would like to say is it's just again amazing time to be alive. So much can change if you find the right opportunity, and you really go all in your spare time. Your entire life can change in 2 to 3 years. I mean, I literally have seen people go from knocking doors selling solar or something like that, and within 12 months, we literally within 5 months, be making over 100,000 a month in their side hustle, and then their side hustle becomes their main thing. So here's what we know: with social media, a complete worldwide economy, there's never been a better time to be alive to make a larger amount of money than right now in 2024, especially with AI coming out. So many things. That really level the playing field that have never been out before. And so I think that there's never been a more important time than now to focus on your mindset, to focus on that personal development, and come up with an exact action plan. Like I said, if you really want to break down success, first off, it's a decision, and then it's a plan and consistency. And that's basically like the roadmap to becoming successful. So the thing I love about Jose is he's made a decision, he's working on the plan, and then it's just putting that into action. But I've seen it happen so many times over the last 30 years of being an entrepreneur and doing billions of dollars in sales, paying out billions of dollars in commissions. I've seen somebody makes a decision, they follow a process, they continue to change their train of thought, going from winning and losing to going to winning and learning. And the thing is, unless there's a time limit and we're doing a sporting activity, there really is no winning and losing. It's winning and learning. Now, if it is a timed event, then you do have some, winners and losers. It's something, but success isn't timed. So some people can do it in 6, 7, 8 months, a year, 2, 3, 4, 10, 2 decades, 3 decades. I mean, I get motivated a lot of times when I see like this list of billionaires, not millionaires, list of billionaires that didn't start their business until after the age of 45.
Yeah.
And so at 26, there's a lot of time, and that's really what we want to do is we want to get in there with, well, we don't know how much time there is ever, but in theory there is, but that's why we want to work with people as young as we possibly can, just to give them the best shot possible to start working on these. But personal development and the right mindset is a huge part of it, but there's nothing bigger than taking action. And last thing I'll say on personal development, I think it was Bill Gates, and they're interviewing him and trying to ask him, Microsoft up until this year has been the largest company in the world for decades. And
Yes.
NVIDIA passed him this year. And Bill Gates, several times throughout his life, has been the richest man in the world, at least documented. The word is some of the, kings and stuff in Saudi Arabia and Dubai and Abu Dhabi and the royal family have much more money than Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk or any of that. But talking about the businessmen, many times Bill Gates has been documented as the richest man in the world. So they were interviewing him, and they said, what was the true secret to wealth? And he says, you know what? I was in the right place at the right time. with technology just coming out, computers just coming out, and stuff like that. And he said, you know what? There was a lot of people in that same time that were even working on technology. It wasn't just being in the right place at the right time. And he said, you know what? Yeah, that's right. He said, I had vision. I had a game plan. What we thought we could do. We saw what was possible. And he said, I'm sure pretty much everybody who was trying to roll something out at that time had some vision and had some goals, or they wouldn't have been working in that space. And he agreed with them again. He said, maybe that's true. And he said, you know what? If you really think about it, we was in the right place at the right time. We had some vision. We had some goals. We saw something that we thought that we could do that would be very big. And then we took action. In fact, we took massive action. And every time, from the first time I heard that story, I never even saw it, so it could even be made up. It's one of those stories that are kind of told at meetings and seminars and things like that. So I haven't seen like the actual interview. But when I do think about it, get in the right place at the right time where there is some opportunity, have a game plan and vision to take advantage of it, and then take action.
Yeah.
And so the only thing that I focus on when we're talking about personal development is that this is an action plan. I see so many people that get caught up in personal development and read a book and another book and another book and go to a seminar and another seminar and another seminar. And then they just start learning all this stuff, and that they have the knowledge, but they don't apply it. And so my whole thing is find a book or something that you like, and then go to work with those principles. You don't have to read 100 books to become successful, to become wealthy. If you find one platform, you make the decision, you follow the process, you get the right mentors, and move forward, that's really what it is. So I'm all for personal growth and development and mindset. But I believe 100%, I think it was Warren Buffett that talked about that education can make you a living, but self-education is what can make you a fortune. So just a formal education will very rarely make you a fortune. It can make you a living. But self-education and personal growth and personal development, that's what has the ability to make you a fortune. But again, it is an action plan. You read, you take action. You don't just read and get the knowledge.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's some good stuff. And Jose, I got to ask you, what is like, when you follow those type of plans of taking it, which you've done, you saw something and you jumped on it and you had the courage to take action. We feel like accountability is the next pillar for a reason, because once you have an opportunity, once you have the courage to take action, or once you find yourself engaged in a system where you have a plan of action to follow, I don't know, how important do you feel accountability is? I mean, you got personal accountability, which is your own discipline and desire, and just keeping your integrity, keeping your word, doing what you said you were going to do. And then you have team accountability. When times get hard, people got your back. People got your back. So how does that translate in your life? And what does that mean to you, accountability, as it pertains to your goals and your dreams?
Well, Clayton, what can I say? Accountability is essential in all aspects of the life, in work and business, fosters and responsibilities, trust and productivity. In a community setting like a church, in encourage support and reliability among members. Clear accountability structures help individuals and organizations stay focused and commit to their goals. For example, I want to just throw a testimony for myself. I started working at 18 in a construction man, and I was like, well, I'm going to be here for the rest of my life, or I'm going to start to commit to that accountability in my life to grow as a person. Man, I only got my high school degree, and now I'm manager in the Wind in San Jose
Hmm.
at the age of 26. So I just want to testify that because all dreams come true. The sky
Hmm.
is the limit, and we can reach it, man. With God and with good mentors, we can reach all our goals. Like I said, I just started to work at 18. I was only my high school diploma, and a lot of effort to get to right now. I am like a manager of Wyndham. I know you like in a couple weeks, just make a strong bond. Spirit of God puts people in your life, and like somebody told me like 2 days ago, you cannot close the doors for the blessing that God brings you.
Hmm.
So thank you very much, man.
Yeah.
Really, everything is possible. Just make sure what do you want, and like some phrases right there, successful has no rest.
Hmm. I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
And so here we are with this full uncommon system. So, as we bring this to a close, Jose, this is what we're looking at. And everybody listening around the world, if you've been with us before, you understand the uncommon movement. It is a movement for young men, 14, 15, 16 and above. The young ones get the blueprint early. They get to start early, but all of us as men, what is it to look in the mirror and be a man and
Exactly.
feel like a man who can take responsibility for himself and hold down a family. Uh,
Exactly.
be a man. A man is, someone who can maybe even finance his goals and dreams, or even come up with the resources to invest in your goals and dreams that maybe God gave you. Be a man that's so dignified and so well growth groomed, grew that others may even want to invest in you because you took being a man seriously. Integrity, keeping your word, things like that, right? So, and that's what this thing is about. And then you got some of the obvious things that we don't talk about. That's why we move with certain products like a testosterone product, Dan
Exactly.
just brought to the market because too many men walking around here with too much estrogen uh, and not being a man. So anyway, we can go on and on with that, but I want the world to know, and even all the powerful women that support this podcast, they know
Mhm.
and they feel that men do need a movement. It's not easy to wake up every day with the burdens that we have. Not to compare them to the burdens of any other gender, but to be a man is not an easy task, especially here in this country, right? And I'm sure you can relate to that, but globally and abroad. So we take pride in saying, "Hey, let's support the empowerment of men." Let's fight for that because if we don't, who will? you
Exactly.
know, because if we don't start now, you have these kids that are 5 and 8 and 12, and someone will tell them something completely different, and then they will spend some time not thinking they can be a man, and someone will define their gender for them and their sexuality for them if we don't put out a good, clear, inspiring roadmap. And so it kind of runs deep what this is about, and it's health, it's financial literacy, it's personal growth and development. It's a system of accountability to hold this thing all together. And then we close out, Jose, with this idea of, getting rich in mindset, getting rich in health, getting rich in resources, and then giving back to the community. And that's something that we're really, really, really proud of. This idea of giving back, making an impact on other people's lives, and just want to kind of just get your insight on that. How does that make you feel? Do you and your with your family at the church? Do you guys do anything to give back to the community, or is that a part of your desires or concerns?
Oh
Giving
yes, of course, of course. Giving back is incredible important. Really, whatever the voluntary time, donations, research, or sharing knowledge, it strengthens communities and reach their lives. It fosters a sense of connection and purpose. Uh, contributing to a more compassionate and supportive society, man. Like I said, my mom is a pastor, so every time we're trying to help people, every time we try to get people close to God, trying to get people close to their dreams. Everything starts with a little sand. How do you say it? Like a little drop of sand.
Steve, yeah.
Exactly, and we can build a beach, man. Literally.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Exactly. So that's like I said, is very important to me. Like what this thing with these two kids, really, they have like my age, man. And I was like, he just gave me the money for the standard room, and they are so happy with so many drinks, and I was like, man, come on, it's his wedding night. I can give him something more of this kind, of like jacuzzi, man, big good view, everything is in my hands. Why I cannot do it?
Nice.
So it starts from us and then to them, man. Really,
Yeah.
it's very important to give it back.
Yeah, yeah, and we focus on that really seriously in our overall corporate vision with Be Epic and our movement, our uniform movement, the uncommon movement. You know, giving back is so important, and you know, I love when Dan shares, you know, this whole concept of everyone you could touch. You know, I don't know, Dan. For some reason, every week I forget how it's said. How you say make them better and make you get better. Go ahead and hit them with it, Dan. I love that.
Yeah, basically we have something that a business partner of mine came up with, and we had thought about it for a while. Some friends of mine had made a coin before that you carry around, and it on around the outside it said, "Never do anything that would make anybody feel small, starting with yourself." And then so I was telling my business partner about that, and you know, so often we're our own worst critic, and we don't really think about that, like things we do to other people, but what about the things that we do to ourselves? So I always kind of like that, and I was talking to them about creating something for Uncommon, that maybe a coin or something that people give that really is what we're about. And he came up with the thought. Literally, I told him about that coin, showed him the coin that I've carried around, and literally gave out hundreds of these to people that I've met across the world. And he said he wrote it down, and it was always leave them better. So in every situation that you're talking to somebody, that you're dealing with somebody, you should have the goal to leave them better, make them smile, make them laugh, make them feel good. And then in turn, you're always going to leave them better. Meaning you're going to leave them as a better person. So if we make it a goal in every situation, we want to leave that person better, then we're going to leave that situation better also. So that's what it is. Always leave them better, and we will always leave them better. And so that's kind of what it stands for. And you know, giving back is not always about money. It can be about money. Some people are in great need of money. And if we can help out that way, we do, and we do all the time. But also what you're doing right now is giving of your time. Your time is more valuable than money. And that's one of those things that people need to realize. So, you know, giving of your time, whether it's service work or mentoring or helping or any of those types of things, it's big. Sharing your talents and things like that. And so we kind of feel that this is what kind of keeps people grounded. I got to a point when I was younger, everything in my mind was about make a lot of money, and my life will be good. You know, make a lot of money and I'll have no problems. I'll have no worries. And it's like, it's not necessarily the case. Making money can give you more conveniences. It can make life more convenient. It can give you more experiences, but it can also give you a lot more stress, a lot more problems, a lot more other things. So I've gone through times where I was like, man, I don't know if I would, you know, trade this, but at times I'm like, man, I don't know if I wouldn't mind just like a simple life. I go to work at 9 in the morning. I get back at 5. I don't have to think about it afterwards. I can spend time with my kids and wife and, you know, et cetera, and just focus on that. But I don't think I was wired that way. So, but what I'm getting at is I don't know exactly when it was, but 100%, I did realize that making a bunch of money is good, can be convenient, can buy some cool stuff, but it really doesn't matter. And so then the more I looked into it, what was really fulfilling was helping people. And I got to the point I'd rather give somebody a car than and I like cars, and I've bought plenty of cars, and I have plenty of cars, but I just to see that excitement and that enjoyment and we've given away many cars with contests and stuff like that. And every time I've given a car away, I literally have felt better than any car that I've bought. And providing opportunity for those in the world that are looking for change, and realizing change only comes through opportunity. Mm-hmm. And so the real reason I do what I do day in and day out isn't because I'm trying to make a bunch more money. Of course, I am going to make more money and continue to make money and stuff like that. But I could be in a situation where I just kind of retire and I could go to the beach every single day, 7 days a week, or the golf course or the river or the lake, and be fine. I've made enough money to get by. But the reason I do this is passion, to help others, to show them what they're capable of, to give them the opportunity to fly across the world, to stay at the nicest resorts, to eat at the best restaurants, to meet people in Costa Rica and Colombia and Africa and, all different continents and all different countries throughout the world. And, it's enabled me to meet some people that there's no way that I had to be able to do that without making money. I've experienced so many things in life that there's no way I could. And I've helped so many people that there's no way I could. If I didn't create excess, there's no way I could help the number of people that I've helped. And when I really look at it, that's what I want to do in this life. I want to show people what they're capable of. I want to provide opportunity for them, because without opportunity, you can't just snap your fingers and things happen. And I want to be their biggest cheerleader and help them. And I want to be there when they're reaching those goals and those checks are getting bigger and they're buying those cars and they're buying those houses. And then they're getting to the point that they're giving things away and they're doing charity work. And I remember a movie I think it's called Pay It Forward, where a little kid in class, they're telling him, some class project, and he comes up with, what I'm going to do is I'm going to help 3 people, and I'm going to show them how to help 3 people and them how to help 3 people. And as that continues, if I was helping 3 people and they were helping 3 and they were helping 3, and let's say I did that on a day, just in one day, you realize the entire world would be helped in less than a year. So if I did some service for 3 people tomorrow and they returned that favor and paid it forward, and they did favors for 3 people the next day, in less than 1 year, you would touch the entire world. So when people are saying, I don't know, I can't really do a whole lot, that's not true. We can do a whole lot. We have access to touch the entire world in less than a year, if we can get these principles and get people going out there and doing some good things. So that's what I've decided for this life, that I want to focus on: providing opportunity, helping others, showing them what they're capable of, giving back. And it's hard to give back if you're struggling yourself.
Yeah, that's real. That's the real deal. I'll tell you what, Jose, you've been a part of history tonight, brother. We came, we saw, and we conquered. This has been amazing. I want to give you a moment, Jose, if you have any closing remarks, anything you want to share from your heart about this experience, anything on your mind that you want to leave with the people. Remember, this broadcast will be archived on our YouTube channel. You can access that at Uncommon Men Global 1%. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, guys. And you can go back there and see 35 previous episodes of Uncommon Men from all over the world that we have interviewed. So it's been an honor to have you here, buddy. Any closing remarks?
Thank you very much. Like I said before, I'm so honored to be here. I just want to share that the opportunity that you give me, man. And so thankful for you. Like we said, I just met Claiborne in the hotel. I just being myself with him, and he was like, man, you have to know the product, you have to know the people, you have to know Dan, you're gonna love it, you will see. And I was like, but it catch my mind really, because I was searching for opportunity like this, and I was trying to be more uncommon man, like we said right here.
Mm, mm.
Exactly. So he just presented me with Dan, and we just get in a meeting in Costa Rica, right there in Cariari Country Club, nearby by the hotel that I work, and they explaining everything. They so kind and they so gentleman with me, and I was like so touched that I just want to enjoy it. And Cleveland was the first person that brings me right here. So thank you very much. And I'm just so excited to learn about more of you and be epic. Thank you so much. And thanks to God, first of all. So I hope that we can share so many emotions with these uncommon men that are getting to be epic, and try to teach them how everything is possible and how everything is possible with God too. Thank you very much. I'm so honored to be here. And just to finish, each of these aspects that we played right here are so significant for the role in personal development, professional success, and community engagement. So try it. I am just a testimony. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you very much.
It's been awesome, brother, and you were awesome. And I want you to, you had an experience. We had an experience in Costa Rica, but now that we're business partners and partners in changing the world and changing people's lives,
Mhm.
I want you to know in our world what that experience really was. And what it was it was the ability to promote events. You know,
Exactly.
it was very strategic. Promoting events will get you rich in our business, because sometimes you got to
Mhm.
get yourself out the way and put people in front of the information. And whatever it takes to
Exactly.
promote events, don't ever forget that, right? From your heart, excitement, passion, no desperation, but putting
Mhm.
a lot of value on things. So what you
Exactly.
witnessed, Jose, was someone passionate about promoting an event that was bigger than him, but also edification.
Mhm.
I edified my mentor. I edified my business partner. I edified a community that you needed to be in so you could see something special. So edification, building things up with words, building people up with words. So then that environment can empower you and your business is a big key to what we do, brother. That's the science. Promoting events,
Mhm.
um, edification. You know what I mean, and doing it detached. Without a spirit of desperation or need, because it's all just
Mhm.
a beautiful numbers game, right? And so,
Exactly.
so, so, so that was great, man. And I'm glad you were able to be a part of that. So, hey
Thank you
guys,
very
with
much.
that, another successful Monday, and we're not going to stop. We'll be back here for episode 37. No, it'll be 36. Episode 36 next week, man. And I'm fired up about that. Dr. Putnam, any closing remarks?
No, man, that's it. Just again, thanks for your time, Jose. A lot of great information, and again, every single person, you're capable of amazing things. We know it 100%. We're going to be here to be your support group. We believe in you. Want to help as many people as we possibly can. So that's all I got, man.
Hey, man, it was wonderful, guys. Thank you again, Jose. Everybody be blessed. We will see you guys next week for another Uncommon broadcast. Until then, God bless you. All right, guys, that was awesome. Ending stream.